Yo, what's up, everybody? It's Friday, and on Fridays we do top fives. Now, the last video I did was a bit, a bit of a downer, let's say, with the economy problems in Marvel Snap, and they're still present. But I wanted to talk about something that maybe is more worthwhile spending your money on because the art in this game is next level. It's so good. It's one of my favorite parts about Marvel Snap is just checking out all the different variants that are constantly added every month. It's so cool to see how other artists bring the characters that we know and love to life in these different universes. Like there's Pixels, Venomized, Dan Hipp variants. He's got a whole bunch. He's like number 2 in the most variants in the game. It's just so cool. There's so many incredible, talented artists that contribute to this game. So I want to showcase some of their work. But in particular, today we're talking about the super rare variants that are in Marvel Snap. You see, when I first did a variant video, I did a top 10 about a couple months ago. All the variants cost the same amount of gold. They changed that a little bit where there's now super rare variants. It's kind of a bummer almost because they only cost more now. It wasn't a reduction in price. But regardless, they're more rare, so you don't see them as often. So it's a little bit more special to own one, right? And those variants cost 1,200 golds. They're only available in the shop. You will never open these variants from a chest. If you do, it's probably a bug, okay? They're only going to show up in your shop and also only if you own the base card. So if you own the base card, you'll start to see that card's respective variants in your shop and eventually, hopefully, one of their super rare variants. Now, don't get it mixed up like super rare variants means better. A lot of the times I actually found some of the variants in this pool aren't that great that I probably would never buy. It's completely subjective. It's just based on your own tastes. These top 5 are just my favorite top 5, but you might have different ones and I'd love to know in the comments below. But to give you context of all the super rare variants in the game right now, there's 154 and they're right here. Boom. I got every single super rare variant on one screen. I'm a little proud of this, but really all the hard work goes to marvelsnapzone.com. Go check them out. Awesome resource. They've got all the variants separated by their rarities. So here they are. Also, there's another note of there's ultimate variants. Those are the ones that cost 5,000 tokens in your shop, which is a bit of a ripoff. There's only like 3 or 4 at the moment, so I didn't feel like that was worth ranking or putting them here. So the next highest rarity are these super rare variants. Wow, there's a lot of good ones. Surprisingly, I don't think every character has one. Actually, I know for a fact that every character does it because there's more than 150 characters in Marvel Snap, 150 cards. Whereas some of these actually have multiples, as you'll see in the bottom left, like Venom has 2, Nightcrawler right above me, he's got 2, Okoye, like there's multiple super rares for certain cards, and I feel like every single card should have at least one super rare, but they're probably working on it. It's not a big deal, right? So have a look at them. I know they probably look small. I wanted to just fit them all on one screen. If you want to see them bigger and blown up and in more detail, go over to marvelsnapzone.com. You can check out all the variants there. But I thought it'd just be cool to give you guys a reference point to the variants that I'm going to be talking about. We're going to do a top 5 like every time and an honorable mentions page as well. If your variant didn't get there, I want to know which one you love from this list in the comments below. So let me know. All right, take a screenshot or pause the video because we're going to get into this top 5 Fridays, top 5. Number 5, Valkyrie. Look at this variant. Oh my goodness. I don't always go for the realistic looking ones. It's not really my style every time, but this one pierces my soul. Look into her gaze. Look into her eye. This chick is ready for battle. I love it. The original ones, I'll have the originals all here just in case, because I think when you're looking at these super rare variants, there's 1,200 gold. That's not cheap, right? You want to pick a card that you play a lot of so you get value out of the variant, and also a card that maybe you don't like the base version of, right? So then it's a clear upgrade and you always use your new variant, and the gold was well worth spent. So anyways, the original, I don't mind it. She's running on the Bifrost into battle with her sword ready. It's pretty sick, but it's a little bit cartoonish for me, whereas this one, oh my gosh, it's so good. It's unreal. I'm a huge fan of like any show ever made that has Vikings involved, specifically the show Vikings. Fantastic show. And this makes me think of Lagertha from the show Vikings. Oh my gosh, what an epic character. And this is just so cool. Obviously Valkyries and Vikings, they're all correlated and, you know, same history, same mythology, but geez, it's so good. And then let's talk about the art itself, right? So it's like, it's got this like painting style of texture, right? Look at the clouds. They're kind of like a painted over texture, like some Bob Ross epic stuff. And then the cape just swirling like it's a big windy stormy day. And she's just boom, she's staring right down the barrel. She's ready to decimate the entire board into threes. You know what I'm saying? Oh my gosh, it's so good. She's got a little bit of a weird chest armor thing going on. I'm sure people will point that out. But it doesn't take away from the art for me. It's so good. I would get this instantly if I owned the card. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen any Valkyrie variants for that matter because I don't own the card. But let me tell you, when I do get Valkyrie, I will be looking for this variant. It is so good. I would love to see it in 3D too. If anyone's got it in 3D, let me know. Hit me up because that would be sweet. Number 4, Ghost Rider. Artist, Max Grecke. So I have the artist for this one. If I have the artist, I'm definitely going to shout them out. But I like this one in particular. He does a lot of great work. He does a lot of great work in Marvel Snap and outside of Marvel Snap. This artist is incredible. But I like this one in particular because it has like an aura about it, like a reddish, pinkish hue of aura of heat emanating from this character. Whereas a lot of the times with the Ghost Riders, as you can see in the base one, there's like this fire, this spitting of fire, and like that's thematic and that makes sense. That's Ghost Rider's thing. I don't know. This one stands out more to me compared to the other ones. There is the ultimate variant where he's like on a horse. Okay, that's pretty cool, but that costs 5,000 tokens. If I have 1,200 gold and I'm looking for a Ghost Rider variant, it's this one. I love this one. I think it looks so good. I used to watch the show Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. It's a funny cartoon, and I don't know why, but this makes me think of it like it would be a perfect character for right in that show. So anyways, I really enjoy this one. I would probably get it if it came up in my shop, and I would love to see it animated with his head, the flame just kind of like flowing, you know, like just a candle. You know, it would look so good. Anyways, on to number 3. Number 3, Venomized Hela. Gosh, the Venomized variants are so good in Marvel Snap. They're so good. They're just too good. And one thing I realized when I was looking into this variant, I'm trying to find the artist for all these. If you know them, definitely shout them out below. But this is actually a cover for an issue of the Venomized Villains series, comic series that is, which is just sick. It just looks so good. Look, she's like standing on top of a rock, battle screaming, and then like got all these black, like, I don't know what you would call them, like horns or whatnot, sticking out and coming out. Oh my gosh, it's so good. And I actually really like the base one. I want to say that the base Hela looks pretty sweet to me with the sword, and the army that she's got behind her looks really cool. So I actually dig this one quite a bit, but my goodness, how do you compete with Venomized? Like, let's go. This is such a good variant. I think it's her best one. She has a chibi one, which is okay. Not really my thing. But otherwise, I think there's Pixel and then there's this. So like, this is just like a clear upgrade. And why not? Because she doesn't have other options at the moment. And there's hella discard decks. Like, you build decks around this card. I've seen opponent have this where it was Infinity Split, I believe, except it just had the Infinity border. So it was like fully decked out and still the same background. And the green that is on her body, it pulses. Like, it's alive. Like, the green like goes in and out like a glow. Oh my gosh, I was shocked when I saw that. I was like, that makes this variant so much better. So this one is just top tier. It's such a good variant. Not to mention, she's such an appropriate character to be Venomized. Oh my gosh, so good. And little spoiler, that's not the last Venomized variant we're going to talk about here. Let's get on to number 2. Number 2, Rogue. And the artist for this one is Rian Gonzales. Now, I'm not sure if I'm getting her name just right. It could be Ryan or Rian. I'm not too sure. But she is so incredibly talented, guys. This girl, she kills it with the art. Her coloring and shading is next level. Look at this card. Look at the amount of colors that are put into here. And it still looks fine to me. There's still a palette available of pinks and greens and yellows. And it just blends very nicely together. There's a few other reasons I really like this one. One, I had to shout this artist out because she also does the Gambit one you might have seen, which might be coming later. She also did the Polaris. I shouted that one out in my last top 10 variants video. And honestly, I would have put that here, but it's not a top 10. It's not a super rare, rather. It's not a super rare variant, so it didn't make the cut. But this one is real good. Possibly one of my favorites because look at all the little characters. We got Cyclops on her arm. We got Wolverine dashing in front. I don't know who that is exactly. I want to say it's Jean Grey, but I'm not 100% confident on that. But in the O of Rogue, there's like Jean Grey and a cat. Oh my gosh, so adorable. She's got these little cats hidden everywhere. It's so good. Oh, she's such a good artist, and it's perfect art for Marvel Snap in my opinion because the comic book style works really well. So I just had to put this one here. I had to. It is too good not to. Number 1, Spider-Man. Venomized Spidey. Oh yeah, we got Spider-Man at number 1. Dude, this is so good. This variant, I wasn't too thrilled about it at first. I thought it was a little busy, you know? Because there's like a lot of webs. There's spiders crawling on them. That's all what all those red dots are. I actually love that detail, by the way, now that I noticed that it's little spiders. But a couple of things changed my mind. 1, this is also a cover art for an issue of a comic book. 2, if you don't know Kawa, he's a fantastic content creator for Marvel Snap. He shared on Twitter once that he has this variant in the Inkify split, and it's one of the most gorgeous things I've ever seen. I have a screenshot here. I'll post it so you guys can check it out. Definitely go check out Kawa, but oh my gosh, check out this variant as well because, man, it's so good. It's so good. A lot of them do end up looking a lot better with the Inkify split, in my opinion, if they're not too heavily color focused, but this one knocks it out of the park. The webs are actually fantastic. There's a lot of detail in these webs all along the way, and the amount of spiders that are all crawling. I didn't realize how many spiders are in this piece of work, but it's crazy. This is truly Spider-Man. Oh my gosh, it's so good. And another reason that I wanted to put this one here is because if you look at all the Spidey variants, there's a lot of good ones. The competition is fierce, but they're all basically Spider-Man. Like they all look like Spider-Man, as they probably should. But this one doesn't quite look like Spider-Man. Like it's clearly a Venomized Spider-Man, but that difference just makes it stand out that much more. I think when you see it or your opponent sees it played, they're going to go like, oh, that's pretty cool. So anyways, I just really love this variant. That's why it gets the number 1. If I see this in my shop, I am scooping it up. Such a good one. But that was my top 5. Like this was so hard, guys. It's super hard to pick my favorite pieces of art in this game for variants because there's just so much that I love. There's so many good ones. I'd be happy to have them. And it depends on the character too. Like if there's a lot of characters I don't like the base of, then of course I want this super rare. But they are expensive. These variants are premium. So you got to be a little bit more picky choosy with what you slap down those gold coins on. But this isn't all. Let's get into some of the honorable mentions that just missed the cut. All right. So here we have the honorable mentions. These are all incredible pieces of art. My goodness. Let's start with the White Tiger. So the White Tiger didn't make the cut. I love this look. This is such a good look with the blurred tiger in the background. They're both jumping out. It's like Power Rangers kind of style. So good. But the problem that I couldn't put it in number 1 is because the tiger that shoots out is always the same skin. And I'd love for tokens to share the same variant style as the actual artwork itself. I'm sure that's a lot of extra work for these artists, so you'd have to commission them at a higher pay. But regardless, I would love to see it because I just get disappointed. The whole point of playing White Tiger is to get the tiger out, and then the tiger doesn't look good, but I spent 1,200 gold on the 1 power 5. You know, like I have a bit of a problem with that a little bit, but I'm not really complaining. It's really fine. It's such a good variant. And then we have the Ultron one, same kind of situation. The drones don't carry, but I find the drones actually look closer to this variant than they do the base one with the red background. This one has a bit of an orange hue with his head, and then that sword that's sticking into the text looks awesome when it's animated. So anyways, I love that Ultron, probably my favorite Ultron. The Gambit again is by Rian Gonzales, so this is just another one of her fantastic creations. And look at the little cats in the background. My gosh, I love it. They're so adorable. It's such a good variant. If I use Gambit more, I'd probably splurge on this, but I don't use him a whole lot, so he kind of just ends up buried in my collection. And then you got Polaris. I just got this one recently. It looks so good when it's 3D animated. I love this variant a lot. It's also incredibly unique compared to her other ones. Like I don't even understand how this is Polaris. I don't know the lore exactly. I guess it's like her battle suit, but you wouldn't guess that this was Polaris, right? Just based on her other variants. So anyways, because of that uniqueness, I was like, yeah, I'm scooping this up because this is probably going to be my go-to. Okoye, this was the first one that I bought. This one has a special place in my heart. I got 700 gold in my early days of Marvel Snap, and I was waiting for a variant that I really liked. And at the time, Okoye was broken. She was a 1-cost 1 and would give +1 power to every card in your deck. So I scooped this one up, and no regrets. Feudal Japan Okoye is so good. I absolutely adore it. The samurai armor and everything, it very gives me feelings of Naruto or something, and I love that. So anyways, I just love this variant. It'll always hold a special place in my heart. Another one that does is the Nightcrawler variant. This was one of the first variants that I ever got, and I love it. It's the bubblegum Nightcrawler. But what I appreciate about it most is the deep black that's in the variant itself, because when the card is actually 3D or animated, it stands out that much more because there's this deep black space in between the tail and the actual character. So it looks really good. I'm actually focused splitting this one because I'd like to just see what it can get to. But I love that variant a lot. The Morbius one here I had to put because I think that's my favorite Morb. There's a lot of good ones for Morbius, but this one's just so menacing, so evil, and the moon in the background with the gargoyles and the bats and everything. This one's really on point for me. And then lastly, the Destroyer. I think this is my favorite. It's the Steampunk Destroyer. I love the Steampunk variants. There's a good Infinite one as well. If you saw that earlier when I got all the super rare variants, try to pick it out there because it is there. But the Destroyer one's so good. It's like he's bro fisting whoever he's playing against when he destroys the entire board or something. Or he's high-fiving Cosmo because they work together too well. So yeah, there you go. This art, it's so good. One of my favorite parts of this game is the variants. They're fantastic. But again, this is just my opinions. This is just a few of my favorites from the super rare pool, that is. So let me know which ones you guys like in the comments below. I'd love to hear it. But anyways, that is going to do it for me. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you guys next time.